following is a Live the Dream Media production.
I am so excited to be back out here, Clint. It feels so good to be back in this studio. I have been directing a couple other podcasts that we have coming out of here in the studio, and I've just been so pumped because they've been doing so awesome. You know, Veronica Soto and her Oversharing podcast is absolutely murdering. It is killing. It is being seen everywhere. I am so proud to have her here with us and to be helping her with her podcast and her broadcasting journey. You know, it's just really great. And then we got the new guy, Raul, who's been interning with us and is now our sports program host. He's starting something new. It's called Southern Arizona Sports Talk. He recently went out to a couple high schools. I know he's going to have the head football coach of Tucson High here tomorrow. It just keeps getting better and better. And thank you so much for those that have expressed interest in joining us on what we're doing here. And, you know, we look back at when we started all of this stuff, and to see it working at this point now, we can't help but just thank everybody making it possible, which is the viewers. And, you know, there's some sponsors and stuff we want to talk about. First one is SaldaAllen.com. Thank you so much for believing in us and in putting your ads and stuff with us and letting us help you grow, along with Dove Mountain Epoxy, which is just an awesome company here locally, and they were the Business of the Year for Local Marana last year. We are going to be having another awards presentation for Local Marana Business of the Year and also a Local Marana Volunteer of the Year, and we will have dates and some information on that event coming out. It will be in 2025, early 2025. So make sure you're staying tuned to us for that. Also, the other thing I want to talk about today is I am going to be giving away a gift card to Scented Leaf. So if you are a tea aficionado or you're just looking for something new to try, we've got a gift card here that we're going to put up for winning today, and we'll announce that later in the show on how to win. So make sure you're tuning in for that. So the first thing I want to talk about today is I just want to get really into the juice things, but before we do that, I want to talk about the weather this morning. And oh,
come on.
I actually got the opportunity. So here I'm going to paint this picture for you. I got to sit outside. It's overcast. It was like 74, 75 degrees. And the mosquitoes were there with me, and they were just eating me like I was a potluck, just sucking my life out. And it was the weather was great. It was a great experience. But once I got inside, I had 10 mosquito bites. I still have them. But other than that, it was incredible. Did you go outside at all this morning, Clint?
I did. It was beautiful.
Drink a cup of Joe?
I drank a couple.
Come on, let the viewers see it, man. There he is. Yeah, look at that hat.
Everybody. Dig that. We're looking for a miracle on the north side. My wife has bought all these little pads to put on. I was all padded up for the mosquitoes and what's that called? Citronella or something like that.
Oh, you were prepared, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do the pre-spray before I go outside.
See, I'm way behind on that. I just went outside and no protection at all. Just went right out there and went for it. I wasn't even going to, but I just looked out the window and I was like, man, this looks like a great experience. So,
and late August, David, I mean, these are the dog days supposedly, and it will be 103 again today probably. But yeah, this morning was overcast and, like you say, in the high 70s, so it was pretty nice.
You're really faint. It's hard to hear you. I want the people. There you go.
I've got it turned down a little bit.
Yeah, you don't turn it down.
Hot. Come on.
Let's go. No, it's I have a lot of hope right now because the last couple of days it's been nice in the morning, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, oh, fall's coming. It's coming, and then she's
6 weeks.
She's like, dude, we're not even close.
6 weeks. Come on.
Yeah, it seems like the monsoon's petering out though. It just doesn't seem the same.
I don't know. It just keeps raining at my house.
Does it? Oh, yeah. You live up there in the hills, huh?
Yeah, it catches the rain a little more up there, I believe.
So let's talk about Elon Musk and NASA. You're going, well, this is a local podcast. We're going to talk about some local things. I got some notes here, but the first thing I want to talk about is this story between Elon and NASA with SpaceX. So Boeing is in charge of I guess you would say, the Starliner that would be grabbing the astronauts that are in the space. What do you call it again?
They're the Uber of the space shuttle right now.
Space shuttle. They're the Uber of the space shuttle right now. Yeah. No. So you got some folks in the space station, Suni Williams and Butch Wilmar, and they were supposed to be up there for just a short stint, right? Just a couple of days.
8 days.
8 days.
And today, I believe, is like their 82nd day. So I hope they packed a little extra in their overnight bag.
Yeah, 82nd day. So NASA has come out and expressed that they feel that using the Boeing shuttle could result in a fatal incident. I don't know about you, but if that was me hearing that, I'm not getting on that thing. That absolutely not. So in light of all this, SpaceX has come out and said, we'll go get them. And that's what's going to happen. But it's not going to happen for a little while. It's not going to happen until February of 2025. But still, they're going to get to come home. And SpaceX is going to be at the front of that. I was reading an article this morning saying that NASA, with them coming out with that, Boeing employees humiliated that upstart rival SpaceX will rescue astronauts stuck in space.
Yeah, that's
it's shameful.
There's another crap going up, and I'm not familiar exactly with what it is, but their suits aren't compatible. So they could catch a ride on the next taxi, but their spacesuits aren't compatible. Which, of course, that's kind of like the razor company, isn't it? You got to buy the handle that fits the blade.
Yeah. So from an employee, here's a quote: we've had so many embarrassments lately. We're under a microscope. This just made it like 100 times worse, said one worker, speaking on the condition of anonymity. Can you say
anonymity?
If you're watching right now and you can say that,
anonymity.
And listening, yeah, I give props to you on. He says, anyways, this made it like 100 times worse. We hate SpaceX, he added. We talk about them all the time, and now they're bailing us out. It's shameful. I'm embarrassed. I'm horrified. Morale is in the toilet here. So, yeah.
Well, if you've been watching the news, David, like about every week a tire falls off a plane somewhere.
I know,
created by Boeing.
Yeah, no. It's a true story. So I've got a flight coming up into Indianapolis here coming up, and then we went to Washington a couple weeks ago. I was checking to see what kind of airliner they were. And I'm not even lying, man. I'm not even lying. I was like, oh, please don't be a Boeing. Please don't be a Boeing. Unfortunately, one of my flights, what do you call it? After a layover, departing flights is a Boeing. So, yeah, looking forward to that. But hopefully it's all good. If anything happens, I'll just reach out to Elon. So maybe he can come and save us. Yeah, so that's an interesting story. I mean, if you're a stockholder in Boeing right now, I don't know what you're doing. Are you bailing? Are you going to keep feeding? Are you going to just stay? What's going on? What do you think, Clint? What do you think the market's saying here? That's what it's saying.
Well, it wouldn't give you a lot of hope, would it? I mean,
no.
I mean, I guess you could buy the dip, but
yeah,
that's I need to see some solutions being created first.
Yeah, it's just it blows my mind. Here we are in late 2024, and you have a company like Boeing that often is in charge of many, many lives. And to see that it's turning into a 50-50 chance on things, if that, on some of the aspects and things they're involved in, like what is going on in the core of the company where you can't accomplish something you've been doing for years? Is it just an internal decay? And then you have companies like SpaceX that is just thriving and growing, and you go, okay, what are the dynamics here? What's going on? What's at play? You can't help but want us to just like look into the science of character inside of there. You know what I mean, Clint?
Hey, just quick fun fact. Boeing has been around since 1916.
1916.
Yeah, they were the Pacific Aero Products, and they became Boeing Airplane, and now they're Boeing Corp.
Wow.
The Boeing company, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, that's. Hey, we all know that it's dicey when you get in a plane, but it's still the safest form of transportation.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, you look at.
Hey, what's up, Ron? Hey, Ron's in the building, man.
Ron's
what's going
in the
on,
building.
dude?
Hey, where is he?
He's behind your door, so if you want to switch
come on
back
in,
over.
Ron.
You can go in.
Where's he at?
He's behind. He's coming in right
I'm
now.
gonna leave the door open for him.
There he is.
Right
Ron Arenas. Thanks for joining
Ron
us.
Arenas is in the house.
When we tell you we want you
There you
guys
go.
to join us, you're welcome
We
to
mean
come walk
literally.
in, so that's
Hey,
fine
who
too.
forgot to lock the door? Where's security at this morning?
Yeah.
Good to see you, bud.
Yeah, no, it just blows my mind. And I can't help but I think about a lot of the odd policies and stuff going on in workplaces and stuff these days. I hear stories of things from some of our interns, from other people in bigger businesses, and I'm like, this is what y'all are focusing on, is feelings and workplace balance and
We've
spiritual
always done
feeling.
it this way.
Yeah,
Don't
and we've
rock the
always
boat.
done it this way. Like, this is what we get, right? Like, so hearing an employee saying this, it's like, come on, like, people are going to ask the question like I did, well, what's going on there? Come on, we all know what's going on there. Cut it out. Let's be real here. Let's be real. Anyways, we're moving on from that. I'm glad that there's going to be a solution, and I wish the best for those astronauts and their families. Personally, I'm praying for you and everything, good outcome. So going now to local. Yes,
real
sir.
Quick, just
you want to go to an ad break? What's up?
No. I just want to follow up on that. Of all the years, and I remember kind of like some of the first astronauts that, I mean, I'm that old that I remember some of those first experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in about, somebody can check me on the date, either 67 or 68, when the Apollo 1, I believe it was, the astronauts were incinerated on the launching pad. So, but my point is, though, considering how many launches we've made, I think NASA has had a fairly good record up until now.
Right. And you said something.
Notwithstanding what the current situation is.
Yeah. I think the biggest concern, the airplane thing does concern me, just the amount that have gone down and have had issues.
Well, there's way more people flying on airplanes than there are rocket ships.
Right,
So
but
that would be a primary concern for.
Yeah. You said something, though, that's very, very true, is it's still one of the safer modes of transportation. I have conversations with people that, there's some old friends of mine that they had their street racing days and, they were kind of crazy in their cars and stuff like that. And I'm like, you understand that is a 2,000-pound bomb? It's just this big oak thing just full of fuel, dude, like, and heat.
I haven't seen the latest statistics, but we've been averaging for years, and the number is down.
Yeah.
Even though the drivers are up, we're still at high 30,000 people a year are killed on American highways and roads. So how many people die in airline crashes per year? I'm sure it's in the low hundreds, if lower than that on an average. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's let's move on to something happy, something good.
We will, but after the ad break. So if you want to put us into the ad break, we'll come back and we will talk a couple different things we got going on. We got local election stuff, the Zuckerberg.
Are we still talking local elections, David?
Well, the official results are out, so I think we should announce the official results. So just to be part of the information relay, we should do so. So
here we go.
All right,
It's coming in.
All right.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltoallen.com. Again, that's selltoallen.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net. We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles. Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
And we are back from our ad break. Thank you to our sponsors for helping us out with to pay the bills and keep the electric on, man. I can't kind of stuttering right now. So I should have done my word workouts before I started, unique New York.
Hey, I had a long chat with Alan this week. I hadn't talked to him in a little bit. And
Sell to Alan.
What a great guy.
He is.
And there was no business involved in this conversation, by the way. It was just two dudes talking. I've known Alan, what have we known him? Going on 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, just a really good dude. So selltoallen.com. If you got any real estate needs of any kind, he's your guy.
Yeah. All right, going to local elections. So we're just going to announce the winners of the local seats here in this last race for Marana Town Council. They are Patrick Kavanaugh and Roxanne Ziegler. Roxanne was an incumbent and kept her seat. So if you were wondering, there was a recount. There was a 14-vote separation between Melissa Zuby and Roxanne Ziegler, and the recount yielded the same results. So it's a done deal. We're moving into the next election season, the general election, and I'm always going to be one of the people that go on here and go on the streets and talk to my friends and family. Go vote. It's your right for most of you, unless you committed a felony. Go vote.
And
vote.
If you're not registered, get registered. They're all important. Every election is important. Local, federal, state. Get registered and participate in the in democracy.
Preach, preach, preach. Okay, so we use social media and stuff around here every day, all the time. A lot of this broadcasting is going on social media. And you and I were having a conversation, Clint. I came in, I was like, hey, this is what I want to talk about on the show today. At the local level. At the local level right now, the only thing we're waiting on that's big is we want to know when the opening day is for Fry's up in Tangerine. I've noticed that a lot of people have been asking that question.
I think it's pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm hearing within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks,
They keep pushing that back a little bit, but I've been pretty much assured it will be before the end of the month of September.
So not even you don't have the date.
I don't think anybody's got the date.
That's a
including the
surprise.
people that have the date.
Yeah. So it's just been something that it's been asked in the groups and things that we see, and there is no official date yet. But if we find anything out, we'll put it out on here, or you can always refer to thisismarana.com.
Hey, local Marana's going to have we're going to have an exclusive on that date.
Oh,
Trust
you think
me.
so?
Yeah. Because I'm going to keep asking the people every day, so we'll be ahead of the game on that one.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Hey, if you're listening, remember, we are going to be giving away a gift card today to Scented Leaf. So if you are chiming in right now and you're interested, just start commenting the leaf emoji. It can be on Instagram and Facebook today. Facebook people are welcome to join. I will be looking at the comments to see if I see a leaf being commented. If you do that, you will be entered to win this gift card. The amount is undisclosed. I know that there's something on here, okay? We'll tell you when you get here. But join in, comment the leaf. It gets you in. Also, you need to be over 18 years of age to participate. So if you're not, thanks for trying, but, be over 18 for this contest. So start messaging and commenting the leaf. If you don't know how to do emojis or you're not able to do so, just write the word leaf. Anyways.
Hey, one more quick thing about local. The pumpkin patch will be open in about 6 weeks.
Oh, thank you for that.
Now, we
Yes.
do have a specific date
Let me
on
get
that.
on there.
I don't have it right in front of me. I think I saw the 7th or the 5th.
I will get you going right now. So the Marana Pumpkin Patch is now selling tickets, and it's going to be open Thursday through Sundays, October 5th through October 27th. Ooh, hold on that. The website has 2023 on there still. So let me go to their Facebook. So if anybody's listening from Marana Pumpkin Patch,
Go ahead, David.
I read the
I'll
wrong
dig it
date,
up.
and I apologize, but I will get on their Facebook page. And okay, October 5th through the 27th. Okay, so yeah, it's the same date. So maybe they've just meant to put the 2024 there, which happens. So don't harp on it too much. It's all right. But yeah, October 5th through the 27th, you can get the tickets now. Pre-buy your tickets. This place sells out quick. You don't want to miss out on it. Come on now. Thanks, Clint, for that little reminder. Anything else going on local that's really cool that we could talk about? Anybody got anything? What about Ron? Does Ron know of anything sweet going on? A sweet deal?
He's like the rest of us. We're just waiting for the middle of October.
For it to cool down?
For it to cool down.
So you can start doing stuff. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So I have a cool story I'm going to be putting out pretty soon here on social media about local media and kind of where things are at. And the video I'm going to be releasing on my Instagram is it's talking about asking the uncomfortable questions. In a nutshell, we were contacted by a legacy media company here in town, a bigger size one. And we went into a meeting and there were some conversations that took place, and there was a word being used repeatedly inside the conversation. And something happened with that word, and I would say go follow me on Instagram, follow Local Marana and stuff on Instagram, because we will be releasing a video that kind of talked about what happened that day and the uncomfortable question that was asked and the uncomfortable answer that was given. So always ask uncomfortable questions. If you feel like something's going on, someone has an idea, ask the uncomfortable question.
Hey, let me chime in here real quick.
Yeah.
David. In all my years, there has been so many times, and I'm sure it's happened to you too, Ron, that you kind of felt in your heart or your mind or your soul or somewhere, hey, what about, and you had a question, but you didn't want to be the only knucklehead in the room out of 100 people that didn't ask that question.
Yeah.
And invariably, everybody in the room wanted to ask that question.
Right.
Right. It's happened to me numerous times. I have learned if I might not raise my hand in a room of 100 people, but I'm gonna get an answer to my question from somebody at some point during that conversation.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If you're thinking it, the odds are someone else is thinking it. And maybe the person you asked the question of hasn't thought that or hasn't explained themselves real well. So you might be doing them a favor. Something happened this week. I won't get into the specifics. The first time it happened, I thought, well, that's on the person that created this situation. Then it happened again. And I'm like, that's on the person that allowed it to happen the first time, not the person that did it, because someone should have been in communication with that person saying, hey, this is probably not what we're trying to accomplish here.
Right.
So I felt like that was a two-part scenario. One person made a mistake, but the other person allowed the mistake to happen the second time. So don't be afraid. Hey, life's awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just we hey, if it's somebody you know real well, you're real quick to question them, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, usually. You know, when you don't know them, it's a little more difficult. And then in this situation, I'm not completely convinced that they even wanted that question asked, to be honest with you. I think it was
I know
a
the
selling
situation you're
point.
talking about, David, and they absolutely did not want to respond to that answer, that question.
But you know what? But when they were asked, they did. So I do want to applaud them for that. But you know, it was just interesting to see that a place would approach you that way and then basically do what they did and use the word that they did. And sometimes the word that's being used isn't what it doesn't mean the same to you as it does to somebody else. So it's always good to get clarification on that as well. Well, coming up here in the next 15, 20 minutes, we are scheduled to have Vera Earl here, premium beef. So they're supposed to come to the studio today to talk to us about different things they're doing, products they have.
Are they bringing like a truckload of samples for Live the Dream Media local Marana, or are we expecting a cooler in the back of the
I don't know. I was told there may be a surprise. So
I'm down with. I like beef.
Full disclosure, I am biased, and I have been going to them for quite some time for meat. I really enjoy driving out to Sonoita and stopping by their shop and picking what I want out of the freezers, like just on my own. It's really, really fun. It's a good way to spend the day if you're looking for something to do. Drive down to Sonoita, go visit these guys, get yourself some awesome, delicious meat. It's mind-blowing how different the meat looks compared to when you go to the grocery store. It just looks, the color is different, the taste is different. It's amazing. I haven't had a bad cut yet, but I'm not going to brag, I do pick like really good cuts. And there's a specific cut that we'll talk about that's one of my favorites. And hey,
Ron was just mentioning back here.
Yeah.
Ron, you remember Ron Arenas is riding shotgun back here. He was just mentioning, make sure to ask this question, that they're going to have like a monthly subscription program, if you will. So we need to be pooling our resources because no, I'm serious. It would save them separate trips, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm totally support local, farm to table, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And without, like you said, David, there's no question, having grown up in a rural area, and I'm sharing with Ron, and you've heard the story numerous times, we used to butcher our own meat as kids. I mean, my brother and I, Tim and I, as teenagers, were butchers. I wouldn't know where to start now. I have no desire, but the meat is totally, when you look at it, it's just like I don't know what we're buying, when we buy at the major grocery stores. I know it's not directly from the farm, though, just looking at it.
Yeah. I tried back in the day a subscription meat thing, and maybe Ron knows about this company. It was called Butcher Box. Yeah, I tried them for a little bit, and it started off cool for like the first 2-3 months. And then after that, they just started sending garbage, man. Like the worst cuts of meat, nothing to it. I even had some gamey stuff. I'm like, what is going? It was really bad. I ended up canceling, man, because it started out awesome. Yeah, here's some really good cuts and everything, and we were paying for like a premium
you know
delivery.
what, David? Those I've considered those services. That's really scary to me, honestly. The shipping, the whole. I know these guys have to do it, the Vera and all that. But come on, shipping meat through the mail is not my way of farm to table. Be honest about it.
No.
So yeah, no. Come on.
So
It's
if you
me.
did the subscription, you would still drive up there just to go get it?
Absolutely. Well, if they brought it to me, I mean, they're the vendors
Just straight
of
directly,
it.
yeah.
Exactly. But some random butcher shop out of Kansas or somewhere. No, I only say Kansas because if you've ever driven through Kansas
There's cows.
or through the Panhandle of Texas, it's just cows.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to stop at one of those little places, I think that's Highway 54 through there that goes up through the Yeah, I know it is. Man, there's some little hole in the wall.
We can't
spots.
see you, Clint. Can you center up a little bit? I see your arm. I see
yeah.
your guns.
Yeah, and my new hat. Come on.
It's that's a nice hat, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
There he is.
My son hooked me up with that. 54. That's you. Have you ever been on 54 through the Panhandle of coming out of Amarillo and up through that area? Man, there are some. You know what? No, that comes out of Tucumcari, New Mexico, up through that way. But you do go. You cut across the Panhandle, and it's just as far as the eye can see. For 300 miles, cows.
Just cows.
Just cows.
Yeah, I love driving up through Sonoyta to go visit these guys because you see cows just on these hills, that just kind of just run. It's a beautiful place. If you haven't been to Sonoyta just in general, just go out there and check it out. It is gorgeous. Just sit there and just take in the views. It's really, really awesome.
Hey, I have nothing against Butcher Box and those guys that sell their beef, but that's just not something I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, it comes with dry ice. That's how it comes.
Okay.
It shows up with dry ice.
Yeah, I'm
Big old
okay
chunk
now.
too. Big old chunk. So you get like a big old chunk of dry ice to mess with when it shows up too. But you got to make sure you're home to go get it because the summer's here. That'll eat that up. Yeah. Anyways, if you are watching, remember we are giving away a gift card to Scented Leaf. I myself have not been there yet, but I will be there soon. But if you're interested in winning, just comment the leaf emoji or write the word leaf. You can do this on YouTube, Facebook, and whichever. Since we're doing on a multi-platform broadcast today, we will reach out to the winner after the show. Thank you very much.
Hey, just out of curiosity, how did we get hooked up with these guys?
So we got an Instagram message from their logistics manager that
Very
watches
cool.
the show.
Cool.
He's a avid viewer of our programs, including
Beautiful.
this one and some of the other stuff that goes on.
Well, thank you guys. That's awesome. Hey, and anybody else out there that's got some swag they want to share with us, and we'll give it away to our awesome listeners. Please just contact David or LTD Media.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can score us some tickets to the pumpkin patch.
There you
to
go.
give away on here. I think that'd be good. I'm
Yeah.
gonna reach out today.
Yeah,
and see if
let's
we can
do
get
it.
some
But
stuff.
If you got some goodies and you'd like to share it with our viewing audience, please just reach out to us. We'll shout you out and do all the things on our end to make it worth your while.
Yeah. So going into our next thing that I have here, I do want to talk about some social media stuff. We got off track because we started talking about the beef, but when it comes to beef, we should talk about the beef. Anyways, there's people commenting. Here we go. Yeah. So Elon, Mark Zuckerberg, there's all kinds of stuff going on. We saw something come out about how Facebook was pressured by an administration on censoring material related to COVID-19 and other stuff on social media platforms. And if you're not paying attention to this, you should be. And if you're not talking about it, you should be. This is of grave concern. And it is a topic that should be discussed in academia, in universities, everywhere.
Preach.
This is a constitutional thing here, right? So we have the freedom of speech and everything. And people are going to go, oh, well, these platforms are controlled by them. They can control the content if they want to. It's a private business. It's a business, blah, 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 blah.
Well, David, I agree with that.
But how would you feel if let's say you're posting something on your social media and you find out that your local government was reaching out to somebody that works there and saying, hey, block that person's content.
Yep.
Keep them from doing what they're doing, especially if it's not of violent material or dangerous material, right? I understand the need to censor certain things that just go way beyond the line of safety and causing uproar.
Well, yeah, I mean, graphic I mean, this is public. Children have access to this. So, but I've said all along, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X, they actually have the right to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
But I'm in 100% agreement with you. If my government, local, state, or federal, starts poking their nose in it, that's a blatant form of censorship, and I'm not cool with that at all.
Yeah,
you're violating the First Amendment rights right out of the gate.
Yeah, this it just blew my. Are you surprised though? So I have the letter here. And I'm going to read the letter for those that don't know what's going on. And you guys, you're getting political. This is not political right here. This is for your knowledge.
No, this is we the people.
This is the we the people thing. And you're going to go, hey, what are you guys doing? Look, you're looking at a group of independent voters in here, okay? Which means that we think for ourselves. We take into consideration a lot of information. And this is one, being in the social media world and doing what we do, and being an independent media company, this is kind of an eye-opening thing. So this is to the Honorable Jim Jordan, Chairman, Committee of the Judiciary, United States House of Representatives. This is from Mark Zuckerberg himself, Chairman Jordan. I appreciate the committee's interest in content moderation on online platforms. As you are aware, Meta has produced thousands of documents as part of the investigation and made a dozen employees available for transcribed interviews. Further to our cooperation with your investigation, I welcome the opportunity to share what I've taken away from this process. There's a lot of talk right now around how the U.S. government interacts with companies like Meta, and I want to be clear about our position. Our platforms are for everyone. We're about promoting speech and helping people connect in a safe and secure way. As part of this, we regularly hear from governments around the world and others with various concerns around public discourse and public safety. In 2021, senior officials from an administration, I won't say the name, I'm not giving them anything, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take the content down, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Like I said to our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. In a separate situation, the FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to 2020 election. That fall, when we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then the presidential nominee and his family, we sent the story to fact checkers for review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. We've changed our policies and processes to make sure this doesn't happen again. For instance, we no longer temporarily demote things in the U.S. while waiting for fact checkers. That's as far as I'm going to go on that.
Hey, David.
There's a lot of bad influence in there, man.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Are you afraid of information that you don't agree with?
No.
I mean, seriously, are you afraid or concerned of, hey, look, everybody's got to own their own, correct?
Right.
But if you're afraid of information that you don't agree with, I don't even know how to respond to that, David. I mean, we know why it happened.
Yeah.
That's not a question. That's not what I'm broaching here. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that we know, that we deal with on a regular basis, and we're close friends. We disagree about a lot of stuff with each other. Yeah. Is that fair enough to say?
Absolutely.
So we don't try to censor each other. Say what's on your mind, Ron. We're cool with that.
Yeah.
How do you grow? How do you stretch?
Right.
If you don't listen to what everybody's got to say.
Yeah. Me being a little bit younger than you, Clint, I have to ask you this question because you've been on this planet longer than I have. You've got a lot more experience and wisdom. And how does this kind of stuff make you feel, man? For our future generations, how does this kind of make you feel?
More than anything else, I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe a little frustrated, but more than anything else, disappointed. And it's because of the lack of accountability and the lack of our education system not encouraging people to be free thinkers. And I was watching something. I'm going to go off a little bit, but I think this applies here. I've been watching this series about Walt Disney and Roy Disney. I don't want to leave Roy out because he was very influential in the Disney world. And the imagination, they concluded it last night with the 6 episodes. The imagination is so valuable. If we're not creative and thinking outside the box, nothing gets done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you and I've talked before about hunger. If we weren't hungry, I don't think anything would have ever been built. Mm-hmm. Hunger drives us. But when we start censoring information for no reason other than gain or power, to increase our power, we got a real problem.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, there's no other explanation for that. Right? It wasn't for money. It was for power.
Control.
Shameful, man. Shameful. I'm very, very disappointed. And I look forward to seeing what happens the next couple years with this kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that, I'm optimistic that there'll be some corrections in it. But it shouldn't just end here.
No.
We can't just write a letter and go, oh, whoops.
No, yeah.
We're good. We got an election coming up, right, guys?
Well, I said this during COVID is let's get through whatever it is. There's plenty of time for the post-mortem after we're clear of this. Yeah. No, seriously.
Yeah, no.
But you know what? Now it's time to start having open, honest, with no preconceived notion of what we expect the outcome to be. What happened?
Yeah.
And how did it happen? And how do we prevent, and I don't mean just the spread of COVID.
Yeah.
But how do we prevent these things from happening again? If we're not learning from our mistakes, right? It's kind of like an old adage. If we're not learning from our mistakes, and shame on us. Look where we're at. We're in the most enlightened period of human history, without a doubt. There's no question. 100 years ago, people were still using horse and buggy to get around.
Yeah.
And except in a few cases, no one's using that as a mode of transportation by choice anymore. And that's because we pushed the boundaries. And can you imagine 100 years ago, Boeing was just getting started? Can you imagine them thinking at that time we'll have a space lab? And we've had people living in space, I believe, since the 80s.
Yeah.
Not consecutively. There's been somebody, real quick story, one of my late uncles invented, with McDonnell Douglas, his team invented the outer space welding apparatuses that allowed them to build this thing. So I have a little family attached.
Okay.
He worked with McDonnell Douglas way back in the day. He's long gone. Lee Flanagan, what is his name? Yeah. But open, honest discussion is what we need to be having with each other. And, sometimes feelings are going to get hurt, but, they're going to get hurt whether you're expressing the truth or not. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, any word on the guest? Do you see anybody here in the studio yet?
Hey, real quick. Yeah. Is that you, Ron, in the white one? Yeah, the white one. That's a big one.
Hey, you know what? If these guys don't show up, Ron, you're welcome to come join us, man. We'll just have you come help us with this last 15, 20-minute set, and we'll talk about stuff going on that you're doing, because you're doing a lot. You're like the media mogul right now.
Well, I think we ought to have Ron. Ron says he's sticking around through, I think,
Chris's
show. So let's make sure we get Ron some airtime.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
There is a vehicle circling the parking lot. So maybe that might be them. I don't know.
It's the administration coming to shut us down, guys. It's the FCC. I'm just kidding. We don't have an FCC.
Hey, let me riff on that just a little bit, real quick, because this is what I've said to you, and I'm going to stick to it. Part of this from Mr. Zuckerberg, and I'm glad he did it. I mean, way to go, Mark. Part of this is I got to believe that he's seeing all the attention that Elon's getting. And he's got to be going, and he's opened up, agree or disagree with what Elon's doing. That's irrelevant. Yeah. He's making people are paying attention to what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
So Mark's got to be looking, because you look back through history, these titans compete with each other.
Yeah.
And it's not, they're competing with their bank accounts and stuff like that, but they're also competing with each other, in this case, on who's getting the most airtime, who's getting the most attention. So that's one thing. And the other thing, and you've read things like this recently also, is the other thing is the other guys might win this time. And he wants to make sure he's in good favor with some of these people. I think we do have people in the room, by the way.
All right. That's awesome. Hey, I'm glad you touched on that, because I heard another theory too was, dang it, I forgot what we were talking about exactly. But we'll get back to it. Let's go to the break so we can bring our guest on today, and then we will chat with you after that. Thanks, Clint. Thank you, guys.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net. We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles. Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
Okay.
welcome back, everybody. Got a little bit of a closer shot here, but it's because we have a couple guests with us here from Vera, Earl. I'm so excited to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great. I got some questions for you, and I want to thank, what's the guy's name that hooked us up? I just know his Instagram handle, but I don't know his actual.
Yeah, that was actually Andrew.
Was it
Hooper.
Andrew?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
he watches a lot of our programming and stuff like that, and he was like, "Hey, this would be cool." And I think I was talking about you guys on a show not too long ago, because I'm like, yeah, I go get that meat, and I have a favorite cut, and it's just it's the best. So yeah, so let's get into it. So go ahead and introduce yourself and let the listeners and viewers know who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, my name's Sonora Schmidt, and I am the head of operations at Vera Earl Ranches and Vera Earl Premium Beef.
Yeah.
And I am here with.
I'm Ian Tomlinson. I guess the owner.
Guess the owner? Just
The whole deal.
just all humble. I guess I'm just the owner.
He's a man of many words.
Yeah, you were actually in the shop one time when I went on like a Saturday. Maybe you'll remember. It snowed.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
My wife and I were in there.
Yeah, Pops and I were like, "Hey, let's go get some meat." He was like, "Let's go get some meat." We had planned it. He's like, "Let's go," and brought our cooler and stuff like that. So that was cool. You guys make incredible meat, and I want to understand how this came to be and what happened to be. What's the contributor for the success that you guys have? So let's get started with that. How did you guys get started, and what has been the key contributor to your success?
The beef company?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the ranch was started by my grandparents in 1968. Mm-hmm. And then I moved down in 2000 after graduating, after my grandmother had passed, and started running what was the Vera Earl at the time, which was substantially smaller than what we do now. And over time, we grew the ranch. We acquired some leases and some different stuff to get to the size we are now. And then in 2020, COVID, my kids were home. Well, I have two daughters, now 22 and 17. So at the time, they were 13 and 17 and ish. And they came to me and were like, "Oh, well, do you think we can sell some of this?" And I was like, well, "I don't know. I mean, it's an entirely different business model than ranching and selling cattle." Mm-hmm. And so I said, "Well, you guys have a lot of free time right now. Why don't you do some market research?" And so that's what spawned it.
Wow.
And they did market research on what percentage of people, the citizenry, have had prime beef, and what percentage have actually had dry aged beef. And it came back and it was a super, super small percentage, like 4%, 3%. And so we thought, with what we've done ecologically and with the ranches and the environment that we graze within, with that story, and then pair that with dry aged beef and high grading beef, that we've really got something that's different than anywhere else and unique. Mm-hmm. And then that kind of built on it. And, we have core tenets that are part of what we build on, what the corporation's about or the company's about. And so we were able to build the beef company within those same tenets going forward of what the family ranch was and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then 4 years later, we're here.
Wow.
Still growing and still working at it and still learning.
Yeah. What's been the key contributor to success for you guys? Has it been, strategic moves with restaurants in some markets, or what would you say has been like a big lead on that?
Luck. I mean, you got to have an ounce of luck.
Yeah, this is true, man. Yeah.
So, there's not one key thing I think that really helped us to the point we're at now. Mm-hmm. Being prepared for whatever lucky strokes we might get is part of it. But I would say probably the biggest thing for us is just staying true to our core values and growing within ourselves. Mm-hmm. Not trying to get too large too fast, but making sure every move that we make growth-wise is strategically placed with what our core values as a company are. And so that way we can grow, but we don't grow outside of ourselves.
Right. I understand.
Hooking up with merit our wholesale distributor has really helped. It's gotten us into a lot of restaurants and opened some avenues for us. And really just having a pretty cool core customer base that spreads the word has been super helpful as well.
That's awesome. Hey, Clint, we're going to get back to this real quick. Let's go to a quick ad. If you could, I want to fix his camera and get him looking really, really, really good here. And that's on.
Yeah,
Just shoot me just
that's not going to happen right now.
Can you shoot it to ad, please?
I can't.
Oh, okay. I see. Can you go to standby real quick?
I can't.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, we're not going to do
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the
Thank you.
power.
Hey, thanks for that. Yeah, we're just fixing a couple things. So we weren't expecting 2 people today, and that's on me. So we got everything adjusted, but we're having some fun here. I love this. I see it in the
Thanks.
camera shot, which
I
is
snuck
really
it up
cool.
there.
Yeah, you see this, Clint? You see it on our shot right here? Can you go to that? Right here. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
See that Vera Earl? That is awesome.
Hey, just FYI, I can only get to her through the computer on the.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just make do. No worries.
Okay.
Hey, okay, so where can people find have your meat at a restaurant? Like, are you allowed to give away some of the names where some of your meat goes? Like,
Yeah,
give us some of the
absolutely.
top places.
Well, I don't want to pick a top. So
Okay.
we just name on.
All right.
Wild Garlic was the first one that came on with us.
Mm-hmm.
They've been with us for, 3.5 years. The ground beef. Tandem over on the east side. Renee's Organic Kitchen on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
5 Points, downtown Tucson. Bata, downtown Tucson.
Oh.
Hotel Clifton, downtown Tucson. I believe Oink just took us on. I believe the Arizona Inn just took us on. Two Back Resort down in Nogales. We have a small place called the Cafe in Sonoyta.
Been there.
And they use our ground beef. He's doing more of a catering type deal, but they use ours. Pronghorn Pizza or Dosca Bases uses a little bit of our beef. And we're just starting now to get into Phoenix as well.
Wow.
So some Valentine's, which is up in Scottsdale-ish. The other ones are just coming on, so I don't want to jinx ourselves.
Man, those are some great places.
And
Those
I'm
are
sure I forgot
well
some.
known.
Arizona Sands Club.
Sands Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've been
That's a big one.
Wow.
U of A Student Union, U of A Athletics uses our ground beef. Sands Club's been an awesome supporter. Chef Danny, they do some really, really cool stuff. We've been in the Cork as well on some special deals. They did a brisket of ours, or several briskets for a week. They did a short rib dish as well. Tucson Country Club carries some of our beef. I know I'm forgetting some, so jump in, Sonora. I need to get this and put a list on it, so when we do this, I can just rattle it out and sound way smarter than I am.
Yeah, we actually, not necessarily in Tucson, but there's actually quite a handful of restaurants in Yuma as well that are using us.
No kidding.
Yeah, and that's definitely been thanks to the Merit connection, but it's pretty cool to say that we're being served across the state at this point, even if our retail sales are a little more, centrally located around us. It's kind of exciting to be able to say that our wholesale distribution, we're being served on plates from corner to corner.
Wow, yeah. So when I initially went, I had no idea how far you spanned out. Like, it was great. And I have a favorite cut that I love from there, and I don't know if you'd be surprised, but it's the Denver.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
a surprise?
Good one. No, that's a good one.
I don't know what it is.
Cut.
It's just got this flavor that's just like, you don't even need to do anything to it. You can just throw it on, cook it, smoke it, and it's just like tender and juicy and just full of flavor. It just blows my mind. My kids love the ranch steaks.
Do they really?
They cannot get enough of that stuff.
Really?
It gets cut up and put on tacos and everything else you can think of. But yeah, no. In my pops, I'm very sure my pops is the Denver as well.
Yeah,
because we leave with stacks of it, and he'll call me when he goes without me. Like, hey man, you need me to grab you something? I'm like, yeah, grab me like 6 if you can, and just real quick. So
it's definitely an underrated cut.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people, it's not super popular. You don't see it as often out there as like a ribeye or a New York.
Right.
So it's a fun one that I like to suggest when people come in the store and they're looking for something different.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example. And again, it's a nice portion size, and then it doesn't require fancy cooking.
Right.
It's easy to just grill it up and get right to it.
I love how it cuts too. You can just take a knife and just kind of go through it like butter, and then you have those perfect like little pieces to put on a taco or just anything. Yeah, it's just kind of.
Hey, David,
yeah.
we were engineering in here. What cut of meat did she just mention?
Denver.
Thank you. Copy, Denver.
Is that Ron? You got Ron's attention there?
He's like, whoa. What's going on out there?
Yeah, what are they talking about meat-wise? Yeah, no. Where does that cut come from?
So the Denver cut comes actually from the chuck area, which I think is what gets a lot of people. Most of your chuck steaks are a little bit tougher than, again, your prime stuff. But so it comes from the underblade. It's also known as the underblade or the edge roast. So it comes from underneath the shoulder blade. And so what that does is, because it's directly underneath the blade, it's not working as much. It's not moving as much. So it allows it to get all of that marbling inside, which again, like if you've seen it, and I've had people that come in like, well, this must be Wagyu. And I'm like, no, it's not. But it looks like it, but it's not. But that's why it's such a tender bite.
Right.
And when you cut them that thin, too, you just get that perfect little cut. And then you pair that with the dry aging, which also continues to tenderize the beef as it dry ages. Yeah. So you kind of are just taking all of these things for that perfect bite.
Right. So the dry aging thing doesn't happen a lot out there.
No, you'll see dry aging if you go to probably a higher end steakhouse. Some of their cuts, they're prime cuts, so they're not prime, but they're high end cuts. Ribeyes, tenderloins, New Yorks will be dry aged sometimes, 21 to 45 days generally.
Yeah,
but you don't see it in mass across the entire animal. So it's really, really difficult to find dry aged ground beef or dry aged chuck roasts or dry aged Denvers, because the way that the conventional packing houses are set up is, it's a business. So you have to get as many through and packaged as you can. And so it doesn't make economic sense for them to have carcasses hanging for 21 days or 45 days. So the entire deal gets dry aged. Plus, from a business standpoint, on a big scale, is when you dry age, you lose 7% of the weight. Just water weight goes away, and the molecular tissue is breaking down, so it's becoming a little smaller. So you take 7%, you run that out over 1,000 head or 2,000 or 3,000. They may be harvesting a day. It's a bunch of quote unquote meat that they're losing. Conversely, the people who take that shrink are the customers or the restaurants, because someone has to take that shrink.
Right.
What we do is with the 21-day dry age process is, one, we think it tastes better. It's a beef that tastes like beef, I've been told, or we've been told a lot. And so you have a richer flavor, but we also take out the shrink. So restaurants, when they get our burger patties, the shrink on the burger patties is negligible. Customers, just retail clients come in, the shrink on steaks is negligible. Whereas if you really measured it coming from a store, it's going to be much greater.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that beef's bad. That's not my point at all. We just choose to do it a different way.
Yeah. I grabbed some ribeyes and I had opened it and I took a picture of it, and my wife sent it to somebody she works with that has like their own little ranch, and they just do their own things. They're not like selling or anything. And he wrote back, "Wow, that marbling is incredible." And I was like, yeah, I was telling Clint, I was like, I haven't seen a lot of meat that color, and just the texture of it just looks completely different. And man, just melts.
It's good.
Oh my gosh, guys. This episode's really cool to me because I live it.
Right.
Right. This is the meat in the dominant meat in our household is this. And my wife is always like, yeah, we got to get some more of that stuff like now, because, and then another thing, is like just health wise, right? You guys are doing grass fed, grain finished, right? Something like that. So like knowing where it's coming from and how it's being taken care of and stuff is a big thing for us, because we've seen a lot of meat recalls and stuff over the years where it's really just grave concern, food poisoning issues. Just for instance, the other day we went to a fast food joint because we were dipping out of town real quick, and lo and behold, food poisoning, like hour and a half after eating and stuff like that. But just knowing where it's coming from and the source and everything is really good. So like for the listeners and people that don't know you guys, where are you guys located at here in the region?
We're in, our storefront is in Sonoyta. The ranch is the headquarters is in Sonoyta as well. And then we go across the Sonoyta Valley into the Whetstone Mountains across to the San Pedro. You say that about knowing where your food comes from. We're big on that. We want, so those cattle, what ends up in our meat case is born on the ranch, raised on the ranch, never leaves until it's harvested. So it's with us 100% of the time till it's harvested.
So cool.
And we hand select. We'll ride into the pens and hand select the ones that are going to be harvested that week. So we're looking at it with an eye towards how are we going to get the best beef on your on your family's table, and looking at the cattle on the hoof and trying to decide which ones would be best that week to harvest and then sell 21 days later.
Yeah.
But with that said, store bought meat is perfectly safe.
Yeah.
We made a pledge with ourselves that when we started this company, the Beef Farm to Table, that we were not going to do it at the behest of conventional agriculture. So we weren't going to run conventional agriculture down to try and elevate what we do. Because quite frankly, we have thousands of head in conventional agriculture that are sold en masse to Whole Foods and grocery stores and whatnots, right? So not the beef company, but the actual cattle company. So we didn't want to be contradictory in that.
Right.
And also, I'm of a firm belief that our food system is safe and secure and the best in the world. We just have chosen to do this aspect of it differently and found that there's a true market for it, which we enjoy. And it's been a learning experience for us too, because our growth trajectory when we first plotted this thing out was not how it's ended up, and it's ended up in a good way. So people really do want to know where their food comes from. They really do want to know whether or not it's had hormones or antibiotics or any other animal byproducts in its feed, which we can say because of our third-party certifications, absolutely not. We're certified natural. We're certified hormone-free. We're certified through this program called CARE, which has to do with environmental stewardship, philanthropy, animal husbandry. So we try to embody all that. And then we believe doing that crosses over to getting better beef
Yeah.
for our customers.
Yeah, the thing that I hear people talk about a lot is the antibiotics and the hormones and stuff like that. And then there's I guess you would say a stigma that people go to the stores and they assume that that's what's happening to the meat. But what I'm learning from our conversation today is the coloration difference is due to the process.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So listeners, if you're hearing, check that out. Your meat at the stores is good. Go do your thing. It's just a different color from a different process. And that's something that I really wanted people to hear today was the process part of it and the difference in the color. Because even for me, when I remember the first cut my pops had showed me from there, I'm like, well, that's a different color. And he's like, yeah, they do it different over there. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're going. So that's how we made it happen.
And ours just tastes, I mean, ours tastes better.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I'm not afraid to say that. And, you know, if you want to put our beef against store-bought beef, our beef wins hands down every time. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say that the store-bought beef is bad. Yeah. It's just not as good as ours.
It's just not as good. Good to know. So being in this business, there's always a say, don't get high on your own supply. Okay. But we're talking about beef here. So do you guys have like favorite cuts that you enjoy of the meat?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my favorite cut is probably, and it's super underrated, and I can't believe I'm saying this on here because it's kind of like
type this down.
I know, right? It's like a secret, and you get one per animal, so that's what makes it
one
even
per
harder.
animal.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it's called a hanging tender or a hanger steak, and if you've never had one, at least to me, I think that it beats like for tenderness and flavor.
Yeah.
Beats a fillet hand down, beats a ribeye hand down, like hands. And so what it is it's these two lobes of a muscle, and they hang by this like cartilaginous seam off of the diaphragm, and it does nothing. And so for the longest time, it was called the butcher's cut because retail customers didn't really know it existed because it gets removed when they take out all of the organs. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like this little secret beefy bite. It is the most intense beefy flavor, grills up beautifully. And like to put it frankly, so like my husband, I took one home. He'd never had one before. We grilled him up and he's like, can we just get a freezer full of those? And I was like, no, not quite, because you get one per animal, but, you know. So if you've never tried a hanging tender, which we do carry, I absolutely suggest you try it.
Okay. Yes, done. Okay. And what about you?
I'm a New York fan.
New York?
Yeah. A well-marbled New York.
It's a key thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There was, now that you're saying the hanger thing, I think I heard the Pops talking about that.
Yeah,
because he said he was talking about one cut that was just like one per.
That was probably it.
Oh man! So how do people get your meat? Like how do they go about doing it? I know that you mentioned restaurants, but like if they want to buy a good size amount of it, they want to show up with a cooler or some other means. What's the best way to get a hold of that stuff?
So obviously the first and foremost, the best way is to come down and visit us in Sonoyta. Our storefront's at 3282 Highway 82 in Sonoyta. It's the last building on the left as you head east out of town. And you're more than welcome to come in. We have all of the beef there. It's all frozen for the retail portion. You come in, we have a table, you set your cuts out, you get to pick your individual cuts. It's something that we pride ourselves on is kind of our customer service. Everybody that you come in and speak to is very knowledgeable. If we don't know something, we'll absolutely find it out for you. And they're right there making sure that your experience is the best it can be. They help you pick things out. If you have questions about the cuts, even comparing two cuts, different things like that, we always have somebody there who's ready to help you as well. And then you can also check us out online on our website at vepremiumbeef.com or veraearlranch.com. You can learn about the ranch itself and all of our practices. If you want to buy the beef, check out the beef website. You can order online. You can order via email. You can call us. You can visit us. You know, kind of going on that whole discussion earlier about like where your food comes from. If you come visit the store pretty much sits at the heart of the ranch. So I know Ian said that we're from Sonoyta to San Pedro, but for those who don't know how far that spans, that's 200,000 acres of contiguous ranch land.
Wow.
That we run on. And we do everything old school. We have a total team of about 30 people between our barn, cowboys, and beef and office crew. So we got like 10 cowboys ish, ranch employees.
Wow.
So those guys are out there working, every day. And when you drive down from Tucson, literally about halfway from Tucson to Sonoita off of the 83, you're driving through the ranch. So all the cattle you're seeing on either side of the road,
okay.
That is the ranch.
Yeah.
And, the ranch surrounds Sonoita as well. So you're literally driving through the heart of the ranch as you come to visit us.
That is so cool. I was wondering who those belong to, all those cows, every time I've driven down there. That's really cool to know.
Yeah. So it's cool to be able to say you're seeing that as you're coming down.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you do order online, it's not going to give you a price. And so we do that on purpose. So it'll give you your order, and then the next morning, Morgan or Grace will call you, go through your order with you, make sure everything's right, get exactly the weights that you want for each cut, make sure you're happy with it, and then they'll set up when you want to pick it up or delivery or things like that. So don't be alarmed if you don't get a price right away. Okay. We want to make sure, because the chuck roast can vary from 2 pounds to 6 pounds. So if you're ordering a chuck roast, we want to make sure that you're getting the right weight.
Right, and you're only paying for what you get. Yeah, we don't do the kind of price range thing. So we're literally as hand curated as you can be.
Yeah.
Same with the New Yorks and the ribeyes. They can weigh 10 ounces to 18, 19 ounces.
Right.
Well, who can eat an 18, 19-ounce steak, right? So if you're ordering it and you're going to split it with someone, well, that fits you. But if you're just ordering it yourself, maybe 10 or 12 ounces fits you better. So we want to make sure that we're not just selling beef to sell beef, but we're selling beef to a customer base that knows they're going to get exactly what they want.
That's awesome. I got to testify, just the in-person experience is really fun. It's like fun to go and do, where you guys open the freezers and you sit there and you get to like go after the meat that's calling you, like this is okay, I got to get this one, and it's just so cool to be able to just like go after and grab what you want or need in the shop. And you guys are always just really friendly, and it's just a fun place to go. We always make it like a day trip to just get out there, get the kids out of the house.
Yeah, it's a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year right now. It's green, rolling grasslands. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but yeah, it's a great day drive. Come out, do lunch somewhere, maybe do a little wine tasting, depending on what you're doing, or if you like the wine. It's a huge viticultural area.
Yeah.
And then pick up your beef on the way home.
There we go. Hey, everybody, I want to thank you guys so much for coming here today and taking time and driving to be on our program. We're in a couple years into this, and now we're on this like whole live broadcasting thing. We're getting ready to have an app that's going to go out, and we're going to be doing music as well. So we're going to have a full-on internet radio that's going to be running.
Oh, wow.
But we're gonna plug these broadcasts in that we do on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and all that into the radio programming on the app. And then after these are done, we'll just jump into music and have shows and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
You guys are joining us on something really cool and new that we're doing, and we look forward to having you on more often too, if we possibly can. You're always going to be welcome to come by if you got something you're getting ready to release. I know there was some murmurs about some kind of program you guys are moving into or something.
Yeah. We actually just launched our monthly subscription program.
Oh,
so
okay.
We've got a subscription box in conjunction with the Tucson Tasty Show.
Oh, okay.
And so that's a monthly subscription box that we just launched. Our first orders are going to be going out at the beginning of September, but you're welcome to sign up at any point throughout the month, and we can get you signed up for the next month. So
that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah, go get your subscription box. Go do it. I'm a huge fan of this meat. We again appreciate you guys being here. Listeners, viewers, we appreciate you chiming in today. And there is going to be a lucky winner of this gift card, and we will be reaching out to them very soon. Again, have a good rest of your day, your week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Clint, thanks for locking it down in there, even though the technology was fighting you.
Yeah, Ron.
You're like
was
Rocky.
a huge help.
Ron, the media mogul in there, yes. Ron had it, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching, stay tuned. We do have another program coming on after this with Christopher D. Simone. Make sure to jump in on that. We'll see you soon.